For this video, I'm gonna be going to that basket right there. This shot's gonna play upper 200s, I'd say. And you can see these things have really good glide. That one there was nose up, but it still went pretty straight and didn't hyzer out too bad. I'm gonna throw the ohms now. All right, now we're going to that basket right there. I pulled it back. This shot should be about 330 because the last shot ended up being 289 uphill. This one here, I'm gonna throw, since I have 4 reactors, I'm gonna throw them on different angles. So that one hyzered out as well, but I didn't quite get into that as much as I should have. You can see I almost hit that tree. I was meaning to go right of it, but I went left of it. It fought out to flat really nicely and finished a little right still. Someone put more hyzer on it and throw it harder. So that's very interesting. I didn't quite get onto the shot as much, but it hyzered out pretty stiffly. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna throw an anode in comparison to the first shot there. I'm gonna throw a matrix in comparison and a runway. Okay, so I threw that relatively close to how I threw the first ohm. It didn't come back though. The ohm came back a little bit. The anode held to the right. It still covered the distance and even more. Okay, I'm gonna throw this NV on a similar line to how I threw the second ohm and see if we can create that line. All right, those discs look like about they're maybe 10 feet apart or so. Here's my proton matrix thrown comparable to the reactor. I almost made that. That was cool. Here's a runway thrown in a, a really hard anhyzer to kind of compare. Heads up. So there you can kind of see the differences in the flight. I'm standing over where my hyzer ohm landed. It actually was a collection area of my ohm, my reactor, my ohm, my runway, and my NV. So I threw from over there by that building, over there to the right a little more. There was the last basket I was at. So if you're wondering, can you hold the hyzer? Let's just do a quick lesson for you guys. So the best hyzers are actually with discs that are more understable, not necessarily very understable, but more understable and have glide. That's what allows you to round corners and still access pins that are really tucked. here is my Ohm, and here is my Envy. So let's back up for a second. They are about 15 feet apart or so. So really not that bad. And you can kind of see the Envy definitely was thrown more flat, popped up, and then came over. The Ohm was on a severe hyzer and just stuck on that hyzer and got really left. Yes, I had to put a severe angle on it, but if you work on those angle controls, you can really access pins that are far left. Here's where the runway landed. And I threw this on the same flex line I threw the reactor onto that basket. Keep in mind, the reactor, the one with the Annie, was actually past the basket, whereas this runway is over here. So keep in mind, I threw from back in there. This thing came in actually probably about this line, like that, instead of being over there. First impressions, I'm still gonna throw, so you'll see more angles, but it's going to help your slower arm player have a more workable disc if you can't use the pyro or the runway. And then if you have a bigger arm, it's gonna really help you with full flight shots. So it's one of those really good discs that works all around. I threw from up between this tighter tree gap right here. So as we got to the basket, I did a U-disc measurement and it was at 354 feet. Let me kind of show you where these discs were landing to give you an idea. This was the nose up one. We're about pin high. Here's my matrix. First one I threw just past pin high here. So let's call this a 20 footer. So let's call that matrix 370 feet. And I think this is gonna excite you guys, especially if you're, I don't know why you wouldn't like the matrix, because the matrix is really awesome and it's never come out of my bag. But like I was saying, full shots in the wind and things like that, this reactor is going to really benefit you. So here's the first reactor, about 35 long or so, so almost to that 400 feet range. And then the last one here definitely eclipsed 400, because I would say this is about 50 feet right here. All right, now to the Ohm. Right here, just about pin high, so I'd say about 358, 60 feet. That handled that surprisingly well. I'm not into flicking mids particularly that hard, but that flew really nice. And I did pop it off of a lot of hyzer. Let's try like a swinging hyzer at that basket. It popped up, but that was still just a beautiful line, beautiful shot. All right, I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. So let me grab my runway and show you what I'm trying to do. Do you see the stability difference there? I hope that was pretty good. Let's grab a matrix, neutron. So not that far away, more so like the matrix than the runway. As I get up to the basket here, let's check these out. This reactor is about, oh look at that clean putt, about 25 short. Here was the one I said let's try the hyzer at first. Popped up just a little bit, but we were like, I don't know, roughly 30 long. Oh. And this is very interesting. The matrix on the flat straight turnover line actually went the furthest. And then there's the other reactor. Okay, now we are going for full power. As I get looked at weird by everyone that drives by here. I never realized across the street from the, well, okay, I realized I live here in this town, but I've never thought about coming across the street and throwing in this gigantic field that plays along a road. So I'm hoping that these winds are pure headwind, tailwind. It's kind of hard to tell right now. It's giving me a little bit to the right. That's your guys' left, but it's implied it's to the right. Through from right over there. There's the NV, there's the ohm. The NV was pulled over, the ohm was popped over. So there's a difference between those two. I just measured this out. We were right around like 415 feet with the reactor. But here is the coolest thing. And out of all those, my orange disc went the same. So there you go. My matrix is there, and my reactor is there. So that's pretty sweet. But like I said earlier, I'm way more confident throwing the reactor in the wind opposed to the matrix. The matrix was definitely more of a hyzer flip turnover. We were going downhill in a decent crosswind, but so there's that. And my other reactors were probably right around not too far, maybe 20 feet less, so just about 395 or so, something in that realm. Now we're going to try some severe angles. Hyzer, spike hyzers first, and then spike antes second. Held the angle nicely, but the headwind did what it was supposed to, kind of held it up a bit. I hit that one a bit better and it did more what you want out of a hyzer. That was just a beautiful shot. All right, so that was the test flights of the reactor and the ohm. So let's start out by just giving you some thoughts about the reactor that I have. First off, I was lucky enough to get my hands on these protos pretty quick. So I had a really good idea by the time I got the stock stamps how they were going to fly and what kind of shots I wanted to use them for. I feel like, or I hope rather, it was easier for me to give a proper depiction of how they fly in this video because of that fact. So the reactor, first impressions for me, it was a little too overstable for what I wanted. And then I got to throwing it more and more, and I realized that if you get onto it hard, it flies high speed similar to a Matrix does, but it gives you a more dependable fade, and it also allows you to throw it in the wind without getting like the weird shots. Nothing is wrong with the Matrix at all, and it is going to stay in my bag, but this is going to complement it well because I'm going to be able to throw more like a longer neutron matrix shot would fly without wind in the wind with the reactor. And also I'm getting a little bit more distance with this disc. So it complements it well. And as I was saying in the video, for a slower arm player, this is going to give you that floaty hyzer option. And for a bigger arm player, it's going to give you full distance no matter what the wind condition. So it's fantastic disc, home run. It's my favorite mold that's came out in a while, honestly. And then as far as the ohm goes, the ohms fly pretty true to their numbers here. I don't necessarily throw anything similar to this number in a premium plastic. I just bag the Eclipse NVs that are much more overstable than these. But a lot of people are going to enjoy this disc. It has a similar to a pilot flight, in my opinion. And like I said, it's a very popular flight for a lot of people. It's just personal preference for me. I really like my electron anodes, so I'm going to continue to throw those. But these are going to fly true to their numbers, and if you enjoy the pilot, you're really going to enjoy these. One more thing here, I want to give away these discs. So I looked through all the comments, and I really enjoyed them a lot. My favorite comment of a newer idea, just because I really like the mental aspect of disc golf, was from Chaser EK's comment. Let me find it here. You would love to see me keep doing in the mind videos. It really helps people make better decisions that lead to better scores. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. I love that idea, and I am absolutely going to do some type of video like that. I like that a lot. He even joked around saying make a series called Patent Pending, where you show tricky lies and kind of how to get out of them. I think it's a fantastic idea. So I will be messaging you and letting you pick whichever one you want, since I like this one the most, and I will ship that out to you. And the other one here, let me find the video. It's from BoozGob78. It says pre-tournament plastic type and mold selection based on weather and temperature. I've never really seen anyone do a video about this, and I think that's a fantastic idea. It definitely comes into play too, whereas to let's say, I think the best example with MVP's lineup would be if it's a little rainy out or so. Electron is gonna do way better than like Neutron, and then Proton would be like my second pick, or maybe even Plasma. But like I said, that's something we can get into in that video, and that's a fantastic idea. So I will be messaging you and getting you the second disc that the first winner does not want. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Especially, we're in this crazy time right now. I'm going to keep trying to pump out these videos for you guys. I am going to have more free time on my hands, and hopefully I'm able to go out and just make some fun videos. One more thing before I am done with this video. If you head over to MVP's Facebook page, you have a chance to win a brand new Axiom Pro basket. I made a cool little video yesterday, and they wanted to use it for a basket giveaway. So go check that out. It's free of charge, and it'll also give you guys something else to do. There'll be a fun thing. There'll be a fun thing coming out. I think more giveaways possibly, but I'm not really sure. So you're just gonna have to keep your eyes peeled. And thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll see you in the next one.